He was uncircumcised, and they kept asking him to skin it back. You know, kind of like a banana, you peel it back. They wanted to see what he was hiding in his foreskin during a prison strip search. His name was Sam, and this is the story. I was recently eating a banana, and sometimes, you know how things just, like a light bulb, really strange moment, and then you remember something in your life that happened. Well, when I was eating that banana, I had this strange thought that there was this discussion about bananas and foreskins, and I kind of didn't want my banana anymore. But I had to finish eating it because money's tight. You can't throw nothing away. So I finished eating my banana. I tossed the peel on the side, and I remembered the story of Sam. That's right, the dude who didn't have a circumcised penis. And the prison officer kept picking on him, wanting to skin it back. Sam was a dude who was about 40-something, close to 50 years old at the time I knew him. And there was this officer who was probably about 60-something years old. An old white officer named Sergeant Buisson. That's right, Sergeant Buisson had just a solid mustache and that old rough, rugged North Louisiana look. You know what I mean? Solid wrinkles that travel like dry mud lines across the face. That's how Sergeant Buisson looked. He had a mustache kind of like mine, no beard though. Salt and pepper look. And he was just a tough, rough officer. And we worked on the road crew. And there was about 7 or 8 officers who worked different shifts on the road crew. So when inmates would come back from working all day long on the road crew, we would have to come back into the prison. And when we came back into the prison, well, we had to get searched. Strip search. That's right. They didn't want us sneaking no contraband back inside the prison. Well, this one officer, Sergeant Buisson, had it in for this one dude named Sam. And Sam used to come in to the prison and he would be all razzled, frazzled, fuzzled, wuzzled, whatever. The dude was shooken up because every time he got searched by Sergeant Buisson used to ask him to skin it back. And Sam would come in like this. And this is how Sam talked. Man, I'm telling y'all, see that white man asked me to skin it back one more time. I'm going to show him. He keep telling me skin it back like a banana. He says skin it back every single time I get searched by Buisson. He asked me to skin my back just like a banana, and I skin it back and that head pop out and he see I ain't hide nothing. I ain't never hide no contraband. I ain't trying to do nothing. I'm trying to go home. But he's steady messing with me. I'm gonna show him, y'all. I'm gonna bust his eye one day. I'm gonna rock up on him. I'm gonna rock up on him like a Roman soldier. And he hold his hand like that and say, I'm gonna make it stand up on him. And when it stand up on him, he gonna see what he looking for. He gonna quit playing with me talking about skin it back, man. And the dudes used to laugh at Sam. But this wasn't no laughing matter. At least it wasn't not to Sam. But on our behalf, it helped us pass the time because it was funny every single day hearing him complain how he had to skin it back just like a banana. Well, Sam was kind of a funny dude. You know, he was a Dallas Cowboys fan. He'd be like, man, y'all know I'm just trying to do my time. And I'm going to come through this here. I like to work on the road crew, you know what I mean? You get my thoughts right, get me ready for when I get out, man. Y'all know I done spent buku time up in these here jails. You know what I mean? I got about 20-something years put up investment in this jail. And I ain't causing no trouble, man. I'm trying to go home. I watch my Dallas Cowboys. He love the Cowboys. I watch them Dallas Cowboys. I read my Bible. That's the only 2 things I do. And see, Buisson, all the years I ain't never had no problem with no sergeant. But see, Buisson got it in for me. He got it in for me. He gonna ask me to rack it back and shake it back and pull it back. He said, hey, what you talking about? He said, y'all know what I'm talking about. Tell me skin my penis back. He want to see what in there. He said, how many of y'all he tell that to? Here's the thing. Sergeant Buisson, he wasn't asking no other inmate who was on the road crew during the strip search to skin it back. And Sam, dare I say, in prison, there's a whole bunch of men in prison, thousands of men inside the prison. And Sergeant Buisson wasn't asking every single dude to skin it back. For some reason, he just did not like Sam. I don't know if it was the way Sam looked or the way Sam talked, but Sergeant Buisson would antagonize Sam every chance he got. Now, Sam wasn't even on his crew on a day-to-day basis. He was on a different sergeant's crew named Sergeant Markinsell. And that's the one I was on. And we'd come through. He was cool. Sergeant Markinseller get you strip search and get you back in. See, most of these officers who are strip searching you, they're strip searching you real quick. And they're trying to get home at the end of the day too. So they're not trying to, you know what I mean? This is how strip search works basically in prison. You ever seen the movie American Me? Ain't nobody talking while I'm talking, fellas. So shut the F up. And they tell the dudes to shut up, and the dudes are getting strip searched. There's a lineup, and this officer standing. All right, hold your fingers out like this. You know, rub your palms through your head. They want to make sure you ain't hiding nothing in your hair. You know what I mean? Turn around. Show me your butthole. You know what I mean? Cough 3 times. They make sure nothing pops out your booty hole. You know, you might be holding a stash or a bag. And well, they asked all us to do that. And we all did that. But some dudes are circumcised. So if you're circumcised, you can see that you ain't hiding nothing in there. They still ask you to lift up your balls. They want to make sure you ain't hiding nothing back there. Lift up your back feet. That's how they do it. Well, they don't always ask you to do that, and they don't always stare. Look, them police officers ain't trying to stare inside your booty hole. Not all of them want to do that. Some of them might want to, but most of them don't. They don't care to be looking at, you know what I mean, sweaty balls and stinky booty holes. You know what I mean? They just trying to move on and get out and get back home to their families. But part of the job of being a correctional officer is you have to strip search inmates, and you have to make sure they're not holding nothing. Well, Sam went after this time and time again, and he was just getting about tired of it. And Sergeant Buson, he seemed to be enjoying it, antagonizing, taunting Sam every day during a strip search. Let me tell you something that happened one time, because you have to wait in line for the strip search when you're coming back into the prison off the road crew. And when you're coming back into the prison off the road crew, you got a lot of stuff going on. The gun line might be coming in on a different sally port. You know what I mean? You got other people coming in from different jobs, because there's a lot of everything in prison is worked by the inmates for the most part, and everything is oversaw by the officers. Well, one day we was coming in from the road crew, and everybody was waiting in line, and Sam had this bright idea. He said, I'm gonna try my best to avoid Buson. So if Buson called me up, because it's whatever officer's up next, they just say next, and whatever inmate's up next, they go to that officer who's open for the next inmate to walk up, so they could strip search that person. They would strip search us individually in separate little rooms. Well, Sam, they would say up next, and Buson was the officer set up next, and Sam was up next. Well, Sam intentionally tried to let another inmate who was behind him cut in front of him. He said, say, bruh, won't you go ahead? You go first, man. I'm gonna catch the next one up. You know, and dudes are trying to get as quick as they can through to the strip search so they can get back to the dorms and get ready for yard call, chow. They might be part of the football team or anything like that. Well, Sam was willing to wait to dead last as long as he didn't get searched by Sergeant Buson, so he wouldn't have to skin it back again. Well, when he did that, Sergeant Buson said, Sam, we ain't gonna play that. Come on, don't you cut up. Boy, go back in line. Told the other dude got back in line. He said, come on here, Sam. Come on here. You know the routine. And Sam was like, man, see y'all, I done told y'all, this man won't see me skin it back again, man. I feel assaulted. This man sexually assaulted me, y'all. I'm gonna rock up on him. I'm gonna show him. I'm gonna give him an erection. I'm gonna give him something to see. I'm so tired of this. He said, come on over here, Sam. Let me see what you got in here. And everybody's laughing and joking with Sam. Sam might also be what you call an intellectually challenged individual. He wasn't the smartest tool in the shed. Dude used to say to Sam all the time, Sam, man, you can't even read. Sam like, what y'all mean I can't read, man? I read my Bible. That's the only thing I got to read. I read that Bible. He said, I bet you that. I've been reading my Bible. He said, I don't play behind the Bible. I don't play behind my mama. And I don't play behind the Dallas Cowboys. That's it. Y'all know that. You know what I mean? Y'all know that. And dude said, man, Sam, you can't read. Well, Sam also had an illness on the back of Sam's neck. And so just for perspective, Sergeant Buson, like I said, I told you, he's a white dude. Sam was a black dude. They were both country people, right? Buson was from the country, obviously, and Sam was from the country. Well, Sam had this scab on the back of his neck. His whole entire back neck was this huge blistered scab. And they had a couple inmates that used to mess with Sam all the time and make fun of him. They said, Sam, man, you got that illness, man. That's nasty, man. You got to go to the pill call and see the nurse, man. Let them fix that. And Sam used to be like, man, I'm telling y'all keep playing with my illness. Don't nobody be playing with my illness. This here ain't funny, man. I'm born like this, man. I got rare skin disease. That's an illness. Dude said, Sam, that ain't no illness. You just nasty, man. You got to keep better hygiene. Sam said, man, I'm telling you, don't play with me, man. I fight behind that. I fight behind the Bible, my Cowboys, my mama, and my illness. Dude said, Sam, you can't spell illness. Sam said, man, bet I can spell illness. Dude said, Sam, I'll give you I'll give you 10 soups and a carton of cigarettes if you can spell illness. Sam says, who? Who, me? What? Shoot, I spell illness right now. And everybody waiting, we laughing. We in the van riding back, heading back to get, going back to the compound from the road crew. And Sam's sitting there and Sam said, I spell it. And we were laughing, man. We were waiting. It took about 15 minutes. Sam finally like, I got it. He said, dude said, I'll help you. He said, start with a vowel. He said, vowel? I know where a vowel is. He said L. Dude said, L ain't no vowel. They were laughing at Sam. Finally, Sam dude said, I'm gonna give you a second chance. Sam said, I. Dude said, yeah, that's right. You got it right. He said, I told y'all I can spell I. And he just guessed the first letter got wrong. He said L. And the dude said, yeah, I-L. And Sam was like, dot. They said dot. He said, yeah, I-L dot Ness. They said, we was all laughing at Sam because Sam had literally just spelled illness I.il.ness. So now Sam gets back in line. He gets in the thing, the strip search room. And all of a sudden, when Sam's in there, all of a sudden you just hear, he got an erection. I don't know what happened, but when Sam was in that room getting strip searched and he dropped them drawers for Sergeant Buisson, his private part was standing tall and firm like a Roman soldier, like he always promised it would. It had finally come to a conclusion. Sam got tired of being antagonized and taunted by Sergeant Buisson, and he had rocked up on him in the strip search room. All of a sudden, all the officers just come running in there. They got Sam, they grab Sam. Sam comes out of the strip search room just with a t-shirt on, naked everywhere else, t-shirt on. He ain't had no brogans on or nothing. It was just a t-shirt. When he dropped his drawers for Sergeant Buisson, he had an erection, and Sergeant Buisson got to see something he didn't think he was ever going to see. He got to see more than Sam's foreskin. He got to see Sam's entire skin meat package. And Sergeant Buisson, they said when the officers were laughing later on because Sam got rolled out, he got put in the block. So they said when they walked in there, Sergeant Buisson was backed in the corner. They said he had his walkie-talkie radio like this. And if you know about a walkie-talkie, they got a handheld piece and they got the main walkie-talkie piece. And the main walkie-talkie piece was connected to the handheld piece, and they got a wire. And they said he had dropped the first part of the walkie-talkie. It was on the ground. The wire was connected. He was backed against the wall like this. Come in, sex charge. Come in, sex charge. Whatever the number for a sex charge is, a number. You know what I mean? And they came rushing in there. They rolled Sam out. He came out that room, you know what I mean, completely naked except his bottoms. They brought him to the hole, put him in the dungeon, you know what I mean? But Sam finally got to deal with Sergeant Buisson. So they do an investigation. If you know anything about prison, they do investigations for, you know what I mean, things that happen. Well, the officers and the captains did an investigation. They started asking, come to find out, they never, listen, even if an inmate is telling the truth, the officers are always going to side with the officers. The captains are going to side with the police officers no matter what. The lieutenants are going to do the same thing. The warden's going to do the same thing, the assistant warden. Well, even after the investigation, I heard that other officers said that Sergeant Buisson was antagonizing Sam. They said it wasn't he wasn't physically harming or nothing. They said he was just doing it for jokes and laughs. And the officer used to mess with Sam, during search and during every other strip search and during every other time. Well, during the investigation, they found, so they couldn't really do Sam a whole lot. They took a little bit of good time from him, but they didn't lay him down in a whole, extended lockdown and put him in working cell block and none of that. They let him back down and walk, so he comes back down to walk. And he goes back on the road crew, right? They put him back, he never really caused no trouble. And Sam comes back, he said, say y'all, I told that man quit playing with me. And when the warden said, Sam, if we send you back down to walk, or you gonna have a problem with Buisson? He said, I ain't gonna have no problem with Buisson. He said, I respect Sergeant Buisson. He said, but he kept asking for a warden. He said he wanted me to skin it back, so I skin. And the warden told him, said, look, Sam, that's part of what we have to do. We have to do a full body body search, and if you are uncircumcised, we have to have you skin the foreskin back to make sure you ain't hiding nothing. He said, man, I ain't never smuggled nothing inside no jailhouse. I ain't never smuggled no drugs or nothing up in here. He said, I ain't got no shank in there. I ain't got no dope in there, warden. He said, I ain't put nothing in there. He said, the only thing I do with that thing there right there is stuff I can't do in here right now. And the warden said, all right, Sam, well, we're going to put you back down and walk. So they gave a warning to Sergeant Buson, but they didn't fire this dude. This is a different time. This was in the 2000s, early 2000s. I was in this DeQuincy, and that's the story of Sam. So, you know, he got taunted, and he had to endure being, I guess basically you can call that sexual harassment in today's terminology. But you know, he survived it. Sergeant Buson kept his job. Sam kept his job. It was just another crazy story, the mundane and, you know, insane life inside of the prison system. And if you like anything crime and prison related, and you definitely looking for something different, you know what I mean, something unusual and unique, then you found the right channel at the Pen and The Shank, where we talk about everything that's just a little bit different in a crime and prison related genre. So if you like this story, I promise you ought to check out the video I got linked right here, and it's going to amaze you just like this one, or blow your mind away, or you might be disgusted by it. I don't know. Share in the comments, tell me what you think, but give me a like and subscribe to the Pen and The Shank. Let's get it.